재진은 마음에 들어요?
아니요, 너무 싫어요. 진짜 명호 형만 만나기 싫었는데.
대진이요? 욕해도 돼요? 2번 연속 이런 대진은 좀 아니지 않나. 저는 근데 관객분들이 있어야 게임이 잘 돼가지고 노간주 하고 나서부터 승자는 바꾸고 그 팬분들이 봐주셔야지 스스로 더 잘 되고 그런 느낌? 제가 한번 이런 말을 한 적이 있었거든요. 그 팬분들이 오셔야 약간 직관이 풀려야 내가 좀 더 잘해진다 라는 생각을 갖고 있었는데 확실히 그 팬분들이 오시니까 긴장돼서 못한 것 같아요 오늘은.
From the beginning.
야식스 마셔도 돼.
아니 너 아프리카 소속이잖아.
아, 유니폼 입을 거야.
한번 해야지 그럼. 아 저는 아프리카 소속이 아니에요. 꽂혔다면 쏟아부 인생 직진. 덤픽이요? 다 제 손바닥에 있다. 네.
이진이 형한테 두들겨 맞고 코드로 왔는데 기분이 어떠신지.
세팅 좀 하러 갈게요. 근데 그때 키보드한테 화풀이를 다 해가지고 지금 마음에 가지고 있는 건 없습니다. 16강 올라가면 제가 뽑을 수 있는 기회가 오면 제가 뽑으려고.
뽑는 이유는?
아 좀 이겨내고 싶어가지고.
들어갔는데 안 보여. 오 이게 내려서 뭐야?
올렸어요. 들었어요. 연땅.
보기가 생산이 어렵습니다.
던집니다. 취재.
김도호도 오늘 조기 전역했다고.
아, 괴물 들어온다.
토스들의 복귀에 대해서 어떤 생각이세요?
근데 이게 거기서 토스의 사기성이 나오는 거예요. 지금 토스들만 복귀하잖아요.
영봉이 형, 상준님 해가지고 또 성일이 형도 있고.
아, 좀 궁금하긴 해요. 성적이 좋아서 얼마나 잘할지.
배구이 유행만 돼도 토스는 뭐 하는 게 없기 때문에.
저거는 기본인가?
저그는
300은 돼야 돼. 최소 300은 최소.
저그는 복귀하면 안 돼요.
동영이 어떻게 돼요?
동경은 이번 예선 보세요.
동영이 형 쳤으면
보이지도 않잖아요.
사람들은 재능러가 너무 많아서 징징은 안 될게. 워낙 다들 잘해서. 저그가 사귄 것 같아? 병렬이가 사귄 것 같아? 병렬이가 사귄. 다른 쪽은
너무 힘들어요.
저그 선수들이 연습을 요즘 안 한다는 얘기를 해?
연습을 하기가 싫어요, 그냥. 레드에 죄다 토스거든요, 그 복귀해가지고.
그건 진짜 토스밖에 없어. 토스 저장했으면은 1등이었어 이번이었어. 진짜로.
진짜로. 지금 2등으로 올라와서 명호 형 만났는데 토스로 올라왔으면 1등으로 올라갔어.
몇 살까지 딱 저거 해볼 생각이야?
올해 맞아. 올해 안에 밸런스 패치 없다. 바로 토스.
올해 가장 불행한 대진의 사나이로 꼽히는 거 어떻게 생각하시죠?
저는 GSL 저를 사랑하는 줄 알고 있었는데 여태까지 약간 좀 저 혼자만의 착각이었다라는 생각이 좀 지게 됐고, 첫 시즌 때 박명호 만나고 이제 지금 이제 두 번째 시즌 때 성욱이 형 만나고, 막 다음 시즌까지 이러면은 저는 진짜 난동을 부리던 게임을 못 이기니까 약간 다른 수로 이겨야 되지 않을까. 제가 해적이고
네.
성욱이 형이 그 말하면 봐도 이제 해적이 약간 이제 정의로 나오고, 전 정의는 승리한다고 생각하기 때문에.
진짜 이 헤어스타일을 어떻게 하게 된 건지.
많은 사람들이 이제 저희 머리에 대해서 뭐라고 하는 건 잘 알고 있어요. 근데 제가 개인 방송을 할 때도 이제 팬분들이 이제 계속 그러시는데 제가 알아서 하겠습니다.
차라리 아싸리 길면 괜찮을 것 같아요.
알겠습니다. 그러면 다음 시즌은 더 길게 한번.
멋진 헤어스타일 기대할게요.
알겠습니다.
지금 구성욱 선수가 30% 계약된데 지각적인데
이게 승자입니다. 자신감 있는 사람이고 실격해야 되는 거 아닙니까? 선수로서의 그게.
안녕하세요. 왔네요 바로.
안녕하세요.
원희 사기 포전의 틀을 또 바꿔주는 겁니다. 이런 플레이도 가능하다라는 걸 취재. 필드 아티스트 원희삭 차례 천적 수정선을 잡아내면서 코너스에 진출합니다. 엉머리에 적다 새로운 세상을 찾아서.
Round of 8. Bunny. DRG. SOS. Crap. 2021 GSL Season 2. Code S. Africa TV. Freak Up Studio Live. 2021 GSL Season 2.
What's up, everybody? We're back, and hopefully we're in store for a longer series than that last one. As exciting as it was to see Bunny 3-0 DRG, I do hope Trap versus SOS gives us some more games.
Yeah, that was pretty quick, actually. Bunny versus DRG, and a little bit surprising as well.
Yeah.
Bunny moves on, and this next one, I mean, anything can happen in this next series. I think Trap is better than SOS, but let's just have an interview and see what they think.
All right, so there's going to be a match between the best two of the best Protoss players. One is amazing at his build and strategizing, and the other one is the master of macro. We're going to have an interview with SOS and Trap. Hello. Hello. Wow, these two players competing with one another. And SOS, you have been in the round of 8 a long time ago. It's been 3 years. 3 years since you've last played in the round of 8. How do you feel? Well, that is right. A round of 8 stage is one in a long time. I'm slightly nervous, and I hope today the Goddess of Fortune is on my side. And as your round of 8 opponent, you wish for special, but it is Trap out of all Protoss players. So what went through your mind? Well, Trap recently is probably the best Protoss player, and I did anticipate him to move on as the first place. But in the PvP, you know, he did lose to Parting. So today I hope he's just another Protoss. Alright, Trap. In contrast with SOS, you are writing history as a player who went to the round of 8 the most. So your preparation time was very short. So how did you spend it? You know, the length of my preparation time didn't really matter too much. But since this is an earlier match compared to others, if I do win today, you know, I'm gonna have a long preparation time for my next match. Oh, that is time. But SOS is different. He's different from other players for sure. And you are very infuriated after losing to Potting in the round of 16. And SOS is a master when it comes to making other people angry. So what do you think about that? Well, while preparing, you know, a lot of thoughts went through my mind. I don't know what he's gonna do. You know, today I'm just gonna have to focus on my own plays. I hope I just don't get baited by his plays. Alright, Trap. Great mindset there. And the two players have spent a long time in the same team before, Generic Green Wings. So before we get into the actual match, any last words to each other? SOS, you first. Well, this is a round of 8 in a long time. I think my opponent is too strong, so I'm slightly disappointed. But if I win today, I think I'll have a good time in the next matches. Let's put up an exciting match, Trap. Then Trap, what is your answer? Well, I do want to play an exciting match with GSOS. And I hope the one who wins today will move on to the finals and win. And these two fabulous Protoss players will go head-to-head today. Let's see who wins today.
So now we go to SOS versus Trap. We were talking about this a little bit before we went to that interview. I think this is an especially exciting mirror matchup. SOS has always, I think, been the kind of icon of eccentric, out there, cutting-edge, weird stuff in StarCraft 2. And he has been a two-time world champion, of course, as well, but he hasn't had anywhere near the kind of success that he had in the past. In fact, really, he's been a Protoss overshadowed by other Protoss players and other players in GSL. He's not really been able to get that far at all, but if he could pull it off today, that would be insane. Trap, on the other hand, is the modern Protoss, is kind of the leader as far as how we understand Protoss to work. He's really the guy steering the Protoss meta. But I think this is not that easy to call.
Yeah, it's not super easy to call. PvP can be very volatile. You know, Trap Trap is the best Protoss, like you said.
Yeah.
He's favored here, but that doesn't always mean something. Like we saw perfectly in the Parting series, where it's like Trap, they literally do the same exact build, and Trap gets ahead, and then during times of chaos, that's where Parting won.
Right.
Now, with SOS, I think it'll look a little bit different. It's not necessarily those times of chaos where he'll win, but it's more with sharp-edged builds, right? So what I'm kind of expecting to see out of SOS here is some mind games and some tricks. And you can win a best-of-5 like that, but I definitely think the Trap is going to take this.
If I had to bet, I'd say Trap, but
Yeah.
SOS, he never fails to surprise us. He never fails us to show how far that rabbit hole in StarCraft 2 can go. And
Yeah.
he certainly had time to prep and time to think about this, which always makes him an extremely dangerous opponent. But yeah, I mean, look, Trap has been just murdering lately.
He has.
And if you're somebody who's learning Protoss, then Trap is your go-to guy.
Oh, definitely. There's not a question. Like he's kind of like, honestly, an improved version of Stats in a lot of ways. A little bit more range, same type of really great defensive macro plays, a little bit more aggressive, which is something we were always wishing from Stats. Yeah, he's the leader of the race. There's not even a question. So we'll see if he can move forward. He's still just like SOS. They both have a couple second places in Code S. No victories there yet. That's painful, I think, for both of them. Protosses just don't win GSL that often.
We are going to Oblivion for our first map. After that, 2,000 atmospheres, Nautilus, Oxide, and Romanticide.
That's right. Let's see it. See how this is going to go down. Your prediction, Tasteless.
Probably Trap 3-2, 3-1, something like that.
Okay, yeah.
But I would like to see SOS win.
That would be fun.
My heart says SOS. Mine says Trap. Yes.
Okay, by the way, I need to throw this out there. Oblivion has been fixed.
That's right.
You cannot block the ramp with one pylon anymore.
The map has been updated for this round.
So
Find out if SOS got the memo on that or not, depending on where this goes.
Yeah, SOS coming immediately across.
And he does not see
wiggling around the side of the pylon. That's hilarious. Look at how well he has this mapped out.
So this is in the blind spot adjacent to the gases. And it's not a forge right away, it's gateway. Yeah, do you want to put another pylon and another gateway inside the net, or is this a...
It's a very good question,
I mean,
Tasteless.
because, you know, when you do this build as Protoss over here in the net, you are... oh, is he going to search for this?
Oh my god.
I guess that's what you do when you're against SOS, right?
That's hilarious. Look at SOS. He kind of tilted his head to the side and gave a half smirk. Because it's like, well, I gave up a lot of my economy to do this, and then he immediately scouted it. Yeah, I mean, when you see someone that prepped to play SOS, that they guess something that silly and then find the probe, Trap is even more favored now than he was before. You know, after doing that. And it's not just because he has an edge in this game. It's just like, oh, you know exactly the type of thing that SOS is planning.
Yeah. And, you know, he's had a lot of success in the past by just sliding a probe inside of the main early on. And we don't see this done that often in GSLs for that reason. Oh, gets the probe for that final hit. I don't know if there was many more tricks you could have done with that remaining probe that low on HP.
Well, you could keep it alive at least. I mean,
and now he's throwing a pylon. I should say Trap is throwing a pylon down to block the blocking of the entrance, which is annoying because, of course, the core has to be started right away.
Yeah,
Stargate, excuse me, right away.
SOS, yeah, he does get that Stargate started with the Nexus, but we don't really see from Trap exactly what he wants to do. Like, is Trap just going to go Nexus now? Like, just kind of a comfortable Nexus?
Or maybe he wants to do something aggressive off of this. He's already...
nice. Throws his Nexus down.
Okay. Expansion game it is.
Yeah, now, this is extremely annoying. All right, the Stalker comes down. There you go. He gets the first volley on the opposing Stalker, which is the important part here.
Yeah. you can't have the other Stalker. If he can get it in between volleys there, that could be big too. But he is going to come up here and just kill this pylon. And that means the Zealot can suddenly attack the Stalker. And this is suddenly looking pretty bad, actually. Trap really, you know, this is intuition in StarCraft right here. Is just really realizing exactly what you can and can't get away with in a very unusual situation. And this all comes back to that pylon block. And the entrance getting the hiccup there.
Yeah, and Trap is definitely gaining an edge here.
Oh,
Did
for
SOS
sure.
lose that second Stalker? No, he didn't.
Yeah,
okay, so the battery's done, so he'll save that just fine.
Oh.
And actually kills that during the recall. So a little bit of a flub there from Trap as well. But look at the advantage, a 6-worker advantage after that.
Yeah,
that's significant.
We have time.
Oh
like
my
it. He
God.
tried. He had to try. We talk about Adepts getting in there and killing a few probes, and sometimes that's all it takes, but this is not that different from that either. Having the Stalkers come in there and snipe the probes. And
the Void Ray being sent across the map, see what it can get done. And okay, fine, right? Kill off the pylon in the middle of the map, may as well. Gotta take what you can get. But being down 7 workers right now, and Blink is on the way for Trap.
And especially if you're going Void Ray and then Blink is coming with that. Oh God, this is one of the dangers of Void Rays. You're not as fast as Stalkers are.
Oof.
And so if you're suddenly in a period where you have to retreat.
Well, he finds the best path he possibly can.
The hull
honestly.
damage is permanent though.
But hold on.
There it
3,
goes.
he could have gotten 4 there, I think. And 5, nice.
This is really becoming quite a match, man. Damage being dished out immediately here on both sides. Takes out the Oracle. Now, again, the counterpunch is inbound here from Trap. He is going to have Blink. The Void Ray is, I think, an orange hull damage.
Yeah.
And now, you know, if he can manage to get in there and Blink, like, let's say, into the main or into a position where batteries can't really give you cover, that could be devastating.
Yeah. Definitely the batteries would be an important part of the defense. We have the Robo up now for SOS, so he might be able to just push into some Immortals immediately and just kind of shore up his defense against this.
Well, we don't have an Immortal started yet, and they are not the fastest units to make, and it's going to be, there it is, the Immortal's coming now, and an Observer.
See how he's bringing the Adept? I think he might just try to shade it to high ground.
Yeah, I think so. Oh, dude, there's nothing to stop this.
See that?
Can he get over? Yeah, he's going to let it finish.
Well, that's a bit painful, but I think... Okay, no, all the Stalkers made it up.
Yeah.
This
I wasn't
is very
sure.
ouch.
Well, now he can just start to kill anything else that's
He
over
does
here.
have an Immortal about to pop.
Yeah, but can he actually just dive on that and kill it, or is the play really to try to just kill anything else that you have over there?
The Immortal's stuck. He actually couldn't get the damage out of it because the Adept was blocking it in where it popped out.
And this is smart. Just avoid the actual confrontation with that for as long as possible. Do whatever other damage you can do. And he can blink out over here to the left as well. I mean, he does have an escape route. There is an Oracle getting kills over here. We just now caught this. 6 probes die.
Hey.
He blinks out. It looks like one of them got staggered by the
Dude,
Stasis Ward.
SOS actually has a worker advantage right now, and Scouts, the fact that Trap is instantly taking a 3rd command center.
There is a 2nd Immortal that just now comes out. And so I don't think you can really do anything as far as Blink goes. It's going to have any real effect.
Yeah, but I think the 3rd Nexus is a great play because you have so much more mobility than your opponent right now. I mean, we do have a few flying units still out for SOS that do have some mobility to them as well. This is actually a really interesting game. It is. They have just been slapping each other.
Yeah, I mean, this has been such a back and forth in very different ways. As SOS is going to get his own Blink, and then he's going to have enough Immortals to kind of fill out his army. He's going to be in okay shape, but there's a different direction that Trap wants to take this game. He's going for Zealots with charge. He's getting his own Warp Prism. There's plenty more gates coming here as well. And I think he's intending to actually come in here and hit this 3rd. And basically his offense is going to be the best defense for him as well. You know, Immortal Stalker isn't exactly a mobile army, right? And so I think he's going to try to take this edge and use it to help him out. Oh, can he get that Observer?
Ooh, nice
Oh,
pick.
that's just a great way to do it when you're against Immortals.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're only making Robo units out of one building. But got to be careful not to lose those Stalkers in the process.
Good zoning there, I think, by SOS, even though he did lose the Observer. Has that Oracle still looking for damage. Great quick warp in we saw there from Trap. I tell you, I have to say that like Trap obviously is playing awesome, but SOS actually is playing an awesome game too. Like he has been found out and Trap has outdone him several times. He's just fought back. And he's giving himself opportunities here. Like, it really looks like Trap is probably going to peak up in supply and just have more charge lots and attack over. But SOS is like, you know, he's rubbing 2 nickels together to make a quarter, and it's almost working out for him.
Let's see how this push comes from Trap now. He may have a little bit more oomph here.
Yeah.
The Observer also, you know, the fact that he killed that Observer means he can basically comfortably push in. Sometimes when you have this comp, you're kind of blindly running in, and you got to hope the Zealot's charging to the right stuff. This time, I think he knows he can basically commit. Oh, he gets the other Observer as well.
Yeah, this is so tough. He's warping some Zealots on the high ground there.
Notice he hasn't let the charge come through yet.
Oh,
this is actually
he blinked forward. I'm not so sure about that move because now the SOS's army can fight this back half really
reasonably
well.
Lock him out over here.
Yeah,
and I mean, if you blink up, you have less Stalkers, right? So suddenly the Immortals are not really a factor, and I think Trap actually has gotten the kill.
I think you're right.
It was a very odd engagement, but I think, yeah, the fact that these Immortals are still stuck back here and the bottleneck is actually pretty damn nice. And look, he blinks ahead as the Stalker count thins out.
And he's done some good probe damage, but that blink onto the Immortals, like, I guess Trap just has enough anyways.
What a complex PvP this was, though. It doesn't look like it's... Well, I think this is over, yeah. I was going to say, there's a Void Ray killing stuff, but I don't think it matters because the damage has already been done. Trap, now that was an example of 2 players that really know how to think on their feet, going back and forth, and each player finding an opportunity.
That was an extremely fluid game between them.
Very much so.
The game was on its head from the moment that SOS sent the probe out.
Yeah.
And they both reacted over and over again so well. Honestly, I think
one of my favorite PvPs to cast, really. That would be a fun one to go back and look at again because there were so many little things that happened.
I want to mention also, I think SOS beats most Protoss players in this game. Like, Trap was so on top of everything. He was so on top of everything. And SOS actually played a really nice game considering he was behind for, like, the whole of it.
Yeah. Yeah, very impressive stuff. 2,000 Atmospheres is a different map. It's going to require different styles of play, but we can only hope we're going to have a game as interesting as that one we had on Oblivion. And that game is going to be loading up. Right now, Trap with a 1-0 lead in this best of 5. This fight to get that second spot in the round of 4 of the GSL Codex.
Team NV, SOS. Africa Freaks, Trap.
Man, I hope we have more games like that in this series.
Yeah, me too. That was a delight. I think we absolutely can. I mean, SOS is always trying to come in and do something interesting, and Trap is very good at reacting. Like, if you had a bad player, not a bad player, if you didn't have these 2 players, okay, and somebody spots the probe on the other side, you don't necessarily have the other player immediately interfere with the wall and on the other side, immediately come across with Zealots and Stalkers. Again, you can appreciate a game like that because it shows what 2 of the greatest players in StarCraft of all time, what kind of games they can give us.
Yeah. And that's really what it's all about, is what they can do for us.
That's
as
right.
far as entertainment.
Oh, another pylon hidden.
Yeah. I don't know if he's... I think that's just to try to play a mind game, probably.
Yeah, that is Trap hiding that, by the way. I actually almost switched who's what race. And now that's because there's a pylon in here. Okay.
Yeah, SOS is actually only on 1 gate, by the way. Yeah, misses that, doesn't he? Crazy. So let's see what he does with this 1 gate. Generally with the 1 gate you go Stargate, but who knows, it's SOS. It's going Sentry first, which is not what I'm used to either.
Yeah. What?
I don't know. I'm not sure. But I'm excited about it. We don't see anything else out of him so far.
Battery entrance plugged up. SOS does put 1 pylon here. Now, a lot of times you do that just so you can see what they're making, and then you cancel it. You're not like trying to let it finish, but then
the Stalkers are leaving though.
Yeah, but SOS is also such a weird player that I don't want to count anything out. Yeah, okay, all right.
Yeah, I was going to say the same. I was like, maybe let's it finish because
maybe that's what we're supposed to be doing, is letting our pylons finish there.
Yeah. It's only 75 more minerals.
PvP is a matchup where there are so many different branches of tech and so many different types of strategies interacting with each other that sometimes it's worth it to really do something dramatic to try to get intel. Now, this game, it's 3 gate, by the way, and Robo.
Yeah, okay. Oh, and it's quick blink.
Okay, but I feel like this would just die to Stalker Warp Prism.
Yeah, like Prism can be really amazing, but like Blink and Prism have kind of a similar usage in this type of situation, right? Like Prism is, I guess, quicker blink, but harder to micro blink in a way. Yeah, it's kind of a wild game. You might just have to cancel that straight up. Now that's a great scout right there.
Yeah, well,
that quick sentry really paying dividends.
It's definitely not a secret, but SOS did a set of openings that was very, very odd. Now, he does have the opportunity to blink. I'm sorry, do we have a warp in at that hidden pylon?
We had a warp in of a couple of adepts from Trap.
Okay. I actually swapped the pylons again. I don't know what's wrong here.
Yeah, and he's obviously going to cancel this Nexus.
Yeah, no, there's no hope for that Nexus.
Yeah. But he added an additional gateway. So we're now on 3 gate here for SOS.
But I think positionally, this is just better for Trap.
It is.
I mean, he's at the bottom of the ramp. This is one of the more annoying positions to be stuck in this matchup. And basically, he can start to ferry the units over, but he doesn't quite do it that well. I think this is definitely a miscontrol here by Trap. I think he thought he could basically force something, and he did a good job keeping the Warp Prism alive. He wouldn't want to push it too much further than that.
Honestly, I kind of like this position for SOS right now, Tasteless.
Well, I think especially after that attack from Trap, I don't think SOS is in terrible shape.
Yeah. Now, Trap is going Immortal and Twilight, which actually I really like that as the play, because I think he's figured out now that, like, oh, this is a Blink build, so you got to go for some Immortals. You can't just have Stalkers against non-Blink Stalkers.
This is basically
against Blink Stalkers.
One player just continuing to power on one base. It's Trap. He's going to get everything you could imagine tech-wise and delay that Nexus, because he's still looking for a fight.
Look at this,
my
Blink
God.
forward.
But more Stalkers come up here, and suddenly it's looking like not the wisest decision.
Yeah, like Blink Stalkers beat Stalkers, but not by that much.
Yeah, not if you have more Stalkers. I actually thought there were more Stalkers killed on both sides, but apparently SOS has only lost 3 and Trap's lost 2. So they're even in Stalker numbers right now. Again, though, there's no Nexus at least yet, and the minerals keep bouncing down to 0 fast enough that I don't think we're going to have.
I feel like when Blink finishes, we're going to get into a base trade. Right?
Yeah.
Because Trap is not making a Nexus, so he's going to have 2 Immortals and Blink. He can literally walk across the map. How in the world would you ever hold that with just Blink?
I think the idea, is you're correct, is treat these Stalkers almost like they're Mutalisks or something.
Yeah.
And then try to hit as they leave and kill the workers, and then maybe you recall back home and you barely hold on.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Immortals just sort of punch through. Stalkers, like the Stalkers, are cardboard.
Now, the hallucinated Phoenix actually draws the army into the main base, so he moves back to the front. He's just trying to, like, change where he's at and see if he can catch anything. I don't think he's going to really be able to. The double Immortal walks out of the front and, yeah, obviously forces that back really quickly. Immortals are being made by SOS, so realizing he needs a bit more muscle.
Again, Blink is so close from finishing here. 10 seconds out. He's definitely zoned those Stalkers away. We have these Adepts. They could cause some real damage up here, but not in the same way that the Immortals could, as they would just decimate the natural.
Yeah, we have triple battery at the natural, so SOS realizes it's kind of a tough spot, but he has 2 Immortals, triple battery, and blink. I think he should be able to hold.
Oh, let's see how the force fields come down here as well. We should have a Guardian Shield coming. And this is
an overcharge! Oh, he actually overcharged one way to the side.
And now we just have 1 Immortal over here.
Huh.
The 3rd Immortal's up here. That's a pretty insane number.
Yeah, and losing his own Immortal there, like being down 1 Immortal, I can see you holding that with the batteries. Being down 2, that's a much taller order.
Yeah, well the damage is going to distribute pretty nastily here.
Yeah.
I think Trap's basically done it. This was a real masterful game here by him, by the way.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, talk about a complex matchup looking ever more complicated with the way these guys are dealing with each other. But 3 Immortals should be too many. He also just keeps those alive. Adepts come in here to kill the probes, but again, the problem is there's nothing to sandbag the damage coming out here into the main.
Yeah, he can't save his Immortal there as well. The triple Immortal is just way too much, and this is going to be GG.
Wow.
Trap goes up 2-0.
That was a very unusual game again. SOS doing a very eccentric build, but Trap going for a hard 1-base push, and then when he realizes that there's not really a nexus he can push into, he goes straight into Immortal, straight into Blink, a very delayed 3rd base. SOS relying on counterattack opportunities, adept counterattack opportunities to keep the Trap back, but Trap basically pushed those opportunities away, got across there with a counterattack, and knew that he would have enough momentum in his attack that even if he lost most of his probes back at home to the Adepts, it wouldn't matter because the Immortals and Stalkers of Trap would kill off all of SOS's buildings.
Well, it's been a wild series so far, but Trap is dominating. We're going to go to a 4-player map. This is SOS's chance to start his comeback.
Nautilus is where Game 3 will occur. If SOS can't win here, Trap is the 2nd player to move on to the round of 4 in the GSL.
Team NV, SOS. Africa Freaks, Trap.
Man, I really hope SOS wins a game just so we get another PvP with these two.
I know.
Because these have actually been really good games. The problem is that, at least if we want to have a lot of PvPs, is that Trap is just basically playing perfectly.
This is what happens when you become so strong mechanically and so strong with the fundamentals of the game. Like, you can see they're both really, really smart players, and SOS is making so many great moves, but there's a little bit, like, when you play like SOS, it's a little bit of a crutch. This isn't, like, a bad thing in a lot of ways, because it offers some more flexibility. How do I put it exactly? Macro players are the real alphas, the real Chads of the world, Tasteless. And if you're better at macro and you're playing StarCraft, that is the ticket.
The long history of success with StarCraft players, usually the players writing that ticket are the macro players. That is correct. A lot of times you can have, and by the way, all these guys can macro phenomenally. Okay, so I think sometimes we tend to typecast these players a little bit, but Trap is the guy that kind of knows the ebb and flow of how to macro up, even when he's doing like a 1-base pushing like that. He knows how to handle it.
Yeah. It's very, very strong stuff. Trap walling the probe in. Looks like he wants to secure that kill. Of course, there are cross spawns here. The travel time through the middle is not really that much difference because of the Wulas in the center. Yeah, let's see how this one goes. It's kind of interesting, right? Like, we have the sentry being made by SOS, so it looks like he'll probably go Nexus. Yeah, there it is.
4-player maps do allow for hidden bases to be more viable.
Do you think we'll see a hidden base?
We might not at all, but I just want to put it out there. You know, it's possible. It's there's just more the map to try to cover here.
He's luring him in, Tasteless. SOS is too smart, though. He's like, no. I know what's waiting in there. Okay, 4 Stalkers out in the center. So he's going to put on 4 Stalker pressure. This is not that odd, but oh my god, just because this one got caught, that's really bad.
I think it gets home okay, but this is actually not very much firepower now.
Oof, okay. Good thing he has the battery up and ready. And the hallucinated Oracle gonna fly in, get the scout off, sees the Citadel. Of course, what he's scouted so far knows he can throw down Forge. We probably, oh my god, it's a hidden Nexus that you were talking about, Tasteless.
Yeah,
god, how do you know? You and SOS are cut from the same cloth.
Oh my god, this is gonna get Scott.
Are you kidding? Look at SOS's face, everyone, just watch.
Oh, now, maybe if he... Don't draw him over there. Okay, this is... If you're hidden base, by the way, get scouted this fast in StarCraft, it's the worst feeling.
You see how he just pulled that back? He's acting like he didn't see it.
Oh, Trap?
Oh! Trap is acting like he didn't see it, but he canceled. He knows.
Okay. Same.
Sometimes it can be actually hard to be
tell.
like, when it's really close, it can be really hard to tell. Anyways, they both know.
And so it could be pretty bad, honestly, seeing that scouted, because you put 400 minerals down, and then you canceled it, and it just your overall development is not as. Oh my!
Well, that had to be the play, right? You have to do it.
SOS,
dude. Like, this is so funny. Okay, he's checking for a possible third.
He might not check for that one.
Yeah, he might not.
That's actually, again, in RTS theory, so to speak, that's not really what you expect him to do, is make another hidden base.
Yeah.
You know, you're already behind, and now that hidden base that was supposed to get you ahead, that's even delayed. But I think, you know, SOS has always been, he's always been good at playing StarCraft kind of like it's a poker game, like kind of bluffing what he has. And I just don't know that Trap is going to factor this in. Now, that being said, Trap takes a third of his own because he knows he had a Nexus that was on the opposing side that was forced to cancel. So I do feel like Trap is still basically playing perfectly.
Yeah, and in fact, he's even going to scout for this.
Dude, when
and
Trap sees
I'm not surprised. I think SOS needed to throw down a Nexus as third as well.
Yeah, oh, Trap's smiling. Trap looks at that, he goes, I'm going to win this series.
Yeah, he's like, I guess I'm
you're
going
freaking out, man.
Yeah, this is...
You just can't stop lying.
This is so bad for you can't stop
lying, dude. Just tell the truth, man.
And now he makes the Nexus at his third.
So, you're losing 100 minerals every time you cancel that Nexus.
Yeah, and the pylon goes down, I guess.
Well, you know,
is Trap just going to walk across?
I think Trap just comes across and wins a fight because the math is very unfortunate. Now, how the economy developed here for SOS compared to Trap.
The thing I'm most interested in is, will we see Trap scout the bottom right now? Right?
Yeah.
Do you just
or
keep
does he
scouting
just know, like, okay.
Well, I think at this point, if you just macro through, you probably are going to kill him, right?
So SOS's deceptive style has just been entirely punished by good scouting, by being very thorough on a very, very big map.
Yeah, we don't have 4-player maps on the ladder or anything like that, so things like this can be more tricky. SOS had that same thought as you, but so did Trap. Everyone thought it except me, Tasteless. I wasn't even thinking about hidden bases.
Oh, that's why me and SOS are a round of 8 players, Zertosis.
Yeah.
So SOS is going to be on the move here, but the army supply is about 10 ahead here for Trap, and that's because Trap was making attacking units instead of hiding Nexuses. And then got his Nexus out later. So that's why we're in the position that we're in. There's also 6 gates finishing here for Trap, where I think Yeah, SOS's gateway explosion is just now occurring.
Yeah, he's 4 gateways behind, but they will come. But he is just going to be down in supply for a bit. Does SOS have any immortals? Because that might actually be the big difference here, is 2 mortals against 0.
Well, I think SOS does not have immortals. I think his Robo just finished, and he's getting a War Prism, and he's going to go for Zealot Archon.
Yeah,
from here, which is, I mean, you get the immortals because you're being, frankly, more honest in the game. But Trap gets Archons of his own. I mean, basically, Trap is just going to have a better army. I don't know that the fight in the middle is going to be close, actually, at all.
Oh, he's not even going to take that, I don't think. You can't. You'll just die. Has to run away. Just blink forward there from Trap.
Needs to wait for these Archons and Immortals to get up here. He might actually go around the right side here. It's a little bit safer. And this is where the push comes from. They're both expanding again. To be clear, everyone, SOS is behind. This fight just might be straightforward because he scouted the hidden bases.
Yeah, he's getting a few more Zealots and Archons in here as he can. He does have his battery, he has a Prism. So he definitely has a few tools, but 5 Archon, 2 Mortals seems pretty hard to deal with. All right, his 4th base warping in. He does have a battery.
This angle is very good right now. SOS going to try to push him back here. More Zealots coming in. Great deflection there at the 4th.
Yeah.
The action may seesaw over to the right. It's hard to get into that many Archons.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I think Trap wants to think twice about this. He knows he might have a little bit more, but if the angle's bad, okay, nice blink into the side here.
Yeah, the charge actually really helps there, getting all over those Stalkers. The Stalker's getting cleaned up super quick, but the Immortal Archon count of Trap is so high here, and he is just going to bludgeon his way through to the round of 4.
Yeah, he is just going to trample the position here of SOS. This is going to be a 3-0, as Trap will be the 2nd player to move on to the round of 4.
Wow. I mean, I think SOS played very well, but Trap is just a step above, and I think everyone kind of knows that, including SOS, a big smile on his face. Like, yeah, I mean, you can't even be angry, honestly, as SOS. It's like Trap just deserved that.
Oh,
he was just so handsome and honorable throughout the whole match.
He crossed his T's, he dotted his I's, he evaluated every situation intelligently. He made sure to check for those hidden bases on the 4-player map, not just because people do that on 4-player maps in StarCraft 2, but because it's SOS. He was patient with his tag. Really, Trap may be taking this season. We got an interview with the man himself, and guys, that's it for the night as far as StarCraft 2 games go. 6 games, that's it. All right.
Wow, what an overpowering performance from Trap. He moves on to round the 4. Congratulations, Trap. Thank you. Wow, your momentum is looking so great right now. Now GSL round the 4, 2 seasons in a row, Trap. How do you feel? Well, these days SOS has been playing really well, so I did not expect the score to be so lopsided. But now that I won, I'm gonna have to prepare harder for the round of 4. And today SOS said that he's not, everything is not working out for him today. And Trap, in the Nautilus map, you are able to discover his sneaky base. So with what kind of mindset do you play? I want to be the one that dictates the pace of the game. So I try not to fall behind in the Battle of Wits. And that was my mindset in today's game. And today, to be honest, I was pretty lucky. You know, everything went well for me. And every game, you're able to acquire the win by going for the timing rushes. And that was to grasp the pace of the game, right? Yeah, that's right. And compared to your PvP against Parting, there were no moments of danger today in your games. Well, you know, I did prepare slightly different than how I prepared for my match against Parting. I mean, this is a best of 5 series, which is quite different. And today I focused my basics and everything went well.
맞춤이 잘 통한 것 같아서.
And I think
그래서
my preparation just suited for SOS did go well today.
자, 이렇게 또 한 번 2연속 4강 진출에 이루면서 결승.
So now you move on to the round of 4, 2 seasons in a row. You're one step closer to the finals.
2연속 테란이 됐는데요. 그런데 노성주가
And your opponent will be a Terran player.
좀 어떠세요?
It is Bunny. So what do you think about Bunny?
경기 보는데 경기력도 되게 좋고.
Well, you know, I watch him play these days. His performance is really good.
참 신기하게 저는 테란이
And surprisingly,
좋은 종족이라고 생각하고 있었는데.
for me, I think a Terran is a really great race.
이게 왜 토스가 세고 그 종족 비율을 봤을 때 왜 토스가 세고 테란이 약하지? 이런.
And you know, looking at the race proportion, you know, I wonder why there are more Protoss players than Terran players.
재선이도 좀 잘해가지고.
But Bunny these days, he's playing so well.
구리다고 생각하기 때문에 경기 준비를 잘해.
And even for the map pool, I think Protoss is weak in terms of the maps.
안 좋은 건 납득할 수가 없다.
So you're saying that Protoss is weak?
그렇군요.
That's right.
말씀하셨는데, 자, 어쨌든 이재선 선수와 함께 4강을.
So you will be playing against him in the round of 4.
GSL 우승이 간절한 선수잖아요.
And Trav, you desire for the GSL victory more than anyone else. So anything you want to say?
16강전 끝난 지 얼마 안 되고 8강전을.
It's been only a moment ago that I finished my round of 16. And since I won today, like I said in the interview before, I think this is going to be an advantage for me as I have a long preparation time before the round of 4. And I'll try to move on to the round of the finals as well. Congratulations, thank you.
Man, those were some impressive PvPs. Honestly, I really did enjoy them. I do wish the games were a little bit more back and forth, but sometimes that just means we're going to have a very exciting round of 4.
Yeah, I tell you, this is looking crazy. Bunny and Trap both making it forward. You know, you mentioned it's wild that Bunny is our sole Terran in the round of 8 and now the round of 4. Someone actually just tweeted at me that this is the first time, Tasteless, since 2012 that one of the 4 horsemen has not been in the round of 8 of GSL.
Wow, that's crazy.
Guys, 9 years. We always had one of the top 4 Korean Terrans, Maru TY, Beyond Innovation. At least one of them has been in every top 8 since 2012. How insane is that run from those 4 players?
It's
How
wild.
insane, and the fact that that run has now been broken.
It's crazy, man.
Wow.
It's exciting to be in a different era of StarCraft. And look, man, Bunny really looked incredibly strong. Like in every possible metric, he just looked like a much better player. And so it's going to be a great match with him against Trap. But first, Rogue versus Dark and Zhaun versus Parting, 2 mirror matchups to ensure the best possible ZVP we could have on the other side of the bracket.
Yeah, this is going to be crazy, man. I feel like no matter what we're seeing anywhere, Rogue is still a favorite of the tournament. It's like, oh, you didn't get eliminated yet? Oh, you guys are in some real trouble now.
Yeah, don't count Rogue out.
Oh, we're getting into best of 5, best of 7 series, guys. Watch out. This is the last chance to get rid of him, Dark.
And Zhaun versus Parting is going to be a very different PvP as well.
It really is. I think Zhaun is like more stable than Parting.
Yeah.
But Parting will figure something out and bring some dirt.
And I think, frankly, Parting's been a more robust player than SOS lately. He brings much stronger results. He really seems to have modernized his style while keeping it true to the way that he's been the most successful. He's cheesy, he's crazy, he's aggressive.
Yeah.
But again, he's very strong in macro games, too. I think SOS is having a harder and harder time trying to reinvent the game. Like, I like the hidden nexuses back there. It's smart, but, you know, the longer an RTS game is out, the harder it is to truly catch somebody off guard until somebody can really do something revolutionary.
We just keep mapping these games out more and more and more, which adds this other layer of beauty to it. But the type of beauty that SOS peddles in, it's harder and harder to make it work, like you said. It's
the more studied the game is, the more difficult it is for SOS not to win, but to get wins over and over and over with the styles that he has.
Yeah, and this is something that we've always seen throughout the evolution of StarCraft 1 and StarCraft 2. The very creative, kind of cheesy players do fall off over time because you need to adjust. The thing is, if he was mechanically as sound as Trap, this is it's a whole nother thing, right? Where you can
Right.
start mixing in that type of play. That's where we have Parting, who's right in between, where he's not quite as good mechanically as Trap, but better than SOS. Not quite as mind gamey as SOS, but pretty damn mind gamey, right? So that's one of those more middling players,
Right.
in between the two bookends of Protoss.
But we've got a lot of interesting stories that could unfold for next week. And then, of course, there's the possibility that Rogue, he just trumps everything again. And we have another tournament that ends with us kind of going, of course.
Yeah.
Of course, that was what was going to happen all along. Guys, that's all the time we have. We will be back Thursday, 6:30 p.m. KST. We love you. Stay safe. Bye-bye.